There is a circuit in your brain that lights up when you watch someone from your group succeed at something difficult. Mirror neurons fire, dopamine spikes, and for a moment your brain treats their victory like your own. This is not cultural. This is not learned behavior. This is evolutionary machinery that kept small human groups alive for hundreds of thousands of years. Here's the uncomfortable part. For some of you, this circuit barely activates when the group is 22 people you've never met kicking a ball, and the question you've probably asked yourself quietly is whether something is wrong with you. The answer is more interesting than that. Let's start with what sports fandom actually is from a biological perspective. When someone watches their team play, multiple ancient systems activate simultaneously. Your mirror neuron system tracks the player's movements and simulates them in your own motor cortex. Your reward prediction system assigns dopamine hits to scoring events. Your social bonding machinery releases oxytocin when you're surrounded by people wearing the same colors. And critically, your status tracking circuits monitor dominance hierarchies, because for most of human evolution, knowing who won the fight and which group came out on top was survival information. Sports fandom is basically hijacking systems that evolved to help you survive in a world of 30 to 50 people who you actually knew and depended on. The team becomes your tribe. The stadium becomes your coalition. The victory becomes your status boost. None of this is conscious. It's your biological machinery doing exactly what it was designed to do. Now, this sounds depressing, but it actually isn't. Some people's brains just don't assign that much salience to artificial tribal markers. And this isn't a bug, it's variation. In evolutionary terms, not everyone in a group needs to be equally invested in every coalition signal. Some people track different information, bond over different activities, find meaning in different forms of mastery. You probably have something that does activate those circuits for you. Maybe it's a band, maybe it's a video game community, maybe it's a hobby where you track who's the best in the world at some obscure skill. The programmer who doesn't care about football but will defend their preferred programming language like it's a blood relative. Same machinery. The person who rolls their eyes at sports fans but has read every book by their favorite author and feels personally offended by negative reviews. Same machinery. Your brain didn't opt out of tribalism. It just responds to different triggers. The actual challenge is social, not neurological. Most social bonding in many cultures happens around sports, office conversations, family gatherings, bar interactions. If you don't have the basic fluency in sports outcomes, you're excluded from a significant chunk of casual social bonding. Not because people are cruel, but because shared attention on the same events is how humans build casual rapport. When someone asks if you saw the game and you say no, you've just closed a potential bonding door. That's not moral judgment. That's just how your biological machinery reads the situation. No shared experience means harder to build oxytocin-based connection. And here's what makes this tricky. Faking enthusiasm doesn't work. Your autonomic nervous system gives away inauthentic emotions. People detect the mismatch between your words and your physiological state, even if they can't name what feels off. So you're stuck between exclusion and unconvincing performance. Neither option feels good, and both have real social costs. Let me pause for a second and ask you something people rarely ask, honestly. What is the hardest part of living with this? Not the version you explain to others, but the part you deal with alone. If you feel comfortable, leave a comment. Not for advice, just to name it. You'd be surprised how many people are carrying the same thing quietly. So what actually works if you're navigating a world where sports fandom is the default bonding mechanism? First protocol is curiosity-based navigation. You don't need to fake enthusiasm. What works is asking questions that let people explain something, not fake interest, genuine curiosity about why they care. Most people love explaining their passion if they sense you're actually listening. The key is asking about the mechanism, not the outcome. Instead of pretending to care who won, ask what made the game interesting. Instead of memorizing scores, ask about player dynamics or strategy changes. This does two things. It gives them a dopamine hit from explaining something they understand, and it gives you actual information instead of forcing you to perform enthusiasm you don't feel. You're using your genuine curiosity circuits instead of trying to activate circuits that don't fire for you. Biologically, this works because authenticity is detectable. Curiosity is real, and it reads as real. You're not faking tribal membership. You're expressing genuine interest in why someone else's tribal membership matters to them. That distinction is what makes the interaction work. Second protocol is about feeding your actual tribal circuits. If sports don't activate your bonding machinery, something else does. The mistake is thinking you don't need tribal belonging at all. You do. Humans are group animals. Your oxytocin system needs regular activation through shared experiences with people you identify with. What actually works is deliberately identifying what does activate those circuits for you and building social time around it. Maybe it's cooking, and you need to find people who genuinely care about technique. Maybe it's a creative project, and you need to find people working on similar problems. Maybe it's intellectual conversation, and you need to find people who read the same obscure books. If you don't actively build this, you'll end up isolated. Not because you're too intellectual or too evolved, but because you're starving circuits that everyone, including you, actually needs to function properly. Your brain is giving you signals. Loneliness, restlessness, that specific kind of emptiness that doesn't go away with more content consumption. Those are oxytocin deficiency symptoms. Your system is telling you it needs group belonging. It just needs it from sources that actually activate your reward prediction system. Here's what changes when you approach this as a wiring difference instead of a personality trait. You stop defending your disinterest. You stop secretly judging people who care. You stop treating social friction as evidence that you're fundamentally different from everyone else. You're just someone whose brain lights up for different things, navigating spaces where the default bonding mechanism doesn't match your wiring. That's a practical problem with practical solutions. You engineer your environment to reduce friction in sports-heavy spaces while building parallel spaces where your tribal circuits get the activation they need. This isn't compromise. This isn't pretending. This is working with your actual biology instead of fighting it or pretending it doesn't exist. If this made sense to you, it's because your brain is doing exactly what it evolved to do in an environment it wasn't designed for. Understanding that doesn't fix everything, but it gives you leverage. And leverage is where real change starts. If this way of thinking helps you see yourself more clearly,